Sugar alcohols appear on the ingredient labels of an enormous range of products: sugar-free gum, protein bars, low-carb cookies, diabetic-friendly snacks, mouthwash, and toothpaste. Despite their name, they contain neither conventional sugar nor ethanol. They are a category of carbohydrate compounds called polyols, chemically derived from sugars through a process called hydrogenation, and they have occupied an increasingly prominent place in the food industry as consumers seek ways to reduce caloric intake and blood sugar impact without giving up sweetness. Understanding how they actually differ from regular sugar, how different varieties compare to one another, and what recent research has raised as concerns helps people make more informed choices about these widely consumed ingredients. What sugar alcohols are and how they are metabolized. Sugar alcohols, technically called polyhydric alcohols or polyols, are white, water-soluble compounds that activate sweet taste receptors on the tongue in a way similar to sucrose, but with important metabolic differences. Regular sugar, sucrose, is fully digested and absorbed in the small intestine, entering the bloodstream rapidly and triggering a corresponding insulin response. Sugar alcohols are only partially absorbed in the small intestine, which produces two significant consequences. First, they deliver fewer calories per gram than regular sugar. Regular sugar provides 4 calories per gram, while sugar alcohols provide roughly 2 to 2.5 calories per gram on average. Second, they produce a much smaller blood glucose and insulin response, making them broadly useful for people managing diabetes or following low-carbohydrate dietary patterns. Kathleen Benson, certified registered dietitian at Via Nutrition, summarizes the comparison concisely. Sugar alcohols are not inherently worse than regular sugar, they are simply metabolized differently. Where regular sugar is fully digested and predictably raises blood sugar, sugar alcohols like erythritol are only partially absorbed, providing fewer calories and a smaller glycemic impact, though some types can still raise blood sugar modestly. The major sugar alcohols and how they differ. The 8 sugar alcohols approved for human consumption by the FDA include erythritol, xylitol, sorbitol, mannitol, maltitol, lactitol, isomalt, and hydrogenated starch hydrolysates. They are not nutritionally equivalent to one another. Erythritol stands apart from all others because of its unique absorption pathway. While most sugar alcohols reach the large intestine in significant quantities, where they are fermented by gut bacteria and can cause digestive symptoms, approximately 90% of ingested erythritol is absorbed directly by the small intestine and excreted unchanged through urine, bypassing the colon almost entirely. As a result, erythritol has a glycemic index of essentially 0, provides almost no calories, and causes substantially less gastrointestinal distress than other polyols. Research published in multiple peer-reviewed journals confirms that erythritol is better tolerated at comparable doses than sorbitol or xylitol. Xylitol has a sweetness essentially equivalent to table sugar, allowing a 1-to-1 substitution ratio in recipes, and carries approximately 2.4 calories per gram compared to sugar's 4. Its glycemic index is around 7 to 12, far below sugar's 65, but not 0. Xylitol has a well-documented oral health benefit. It inhibits the growth of Streptococcus mutans, the bacteria primarily responsible for dental cavities, more effectively than sorbitol or erythritol. Multiple clinical trials confirm that xylitol-containing gum and chewing tablets reduce dental plaque formation and cavity rates in children and adults. One important safety note: xylitol is highly toxic to dogs and should be stored where pets cannot access it. Sorbitol and mannitol are classified as FODMAPs, fermentable carbohydrates that the gut cannot absorb efficiently, which means people with irritable bowel syndrome or FODMAP sensitivity should specifically avoid these two. Maltitol has a glycemic index of around 35, which, while lower than table sugar, is substantially higher than most other sugar alcohols, making it a less appropriate choice for people actively managing blood glucose levels. The digestive limitation common to most sugar alcohols. With the exception of erythritol, all sugar alcohols carry a meaningful risk of digestive side effects when consumed in quantities beyond individual tolerance thresholds. Because they are incompletely absorbed, the undigested portion reaches the large intestine where bacteria ferment it, producing gas and drawing water into the colon. The result is bloating, flatulence, and in larger quantities, loose stools or diarrhea. The FDA requires products containing sorbitol or mannitol to carry a warning label stating that excess consumption may have a laxative effect. Individual tolerance varies considerably, and people new to sugar alcohols should introduce them gradually rather than consuming large amounts at once. Benson notes that the overall dietary pattern and total intake matter more than any single ingredient consumed occasionally. The erythritol cardiovascular controversy in 2023 and 2024, a series of studies from the Cleveland Clinic sparked significant media coverage and consumer concern about erythritol specifically. Research led by Stanley Hazen found associations between higher fasting plasma erythritol concentrations and increased risk of major adverse cardiovascular events, including heart attack and stroke. A 2024 University of Colorado study mentioned in Science Alert reported that erythritol exposure increased free radical production in cells and reduced antioxidant defenses, potentially raising stroke and cardiac risk. These findings require careful interpretation. Multiple researchers and a 2025 European Society of Cardiology review, published in an Oxford University Press journal, have pointed out a critical confound. Erythritol is not only consumed as a food additive, but also produced endogenously by the human body through the pentose phosphate pathway, a cellular metabolic process. Elevated plasma erythritol concentrations may therefore reflect dysregulated glucose metabolism, insulin resistance, and oxidative stress rather than erythritol consumption itself. People with obesity, diabetes, or metabolic syndrome produce more endogenous erythritol, which means high plasma levels may be a marker of underlying metabolic disease rather than a cause of cardiovascular harm. The 2025 review concluded that current evidence suggests dietary erythritol is unlikely to be the mediating factor in these associations, but emphasized that long-term clinical trials specifically examining dietary erythritol consumption and cardiovascular outcomes are still needed before firm conclusions can be drawn. Stevia and monk fruit as zero-concern alternatives. For consumers who want to entirely sidestep the ongoing debate around sugar alcohols, stevia and monk fruit are plant-derived sweeteners with different chemical profiles and an absence of the cardiovascular concerns currently associated with erythritol or xylitol. Stevia contains compounds called steviol glycosides with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Monk fruit contains malgrosides, antioxidant compounds that provide intense sweetness with no calories and no glycemic response. Neither is a sugar alcohol by chemistry. They are classified as high-intensity natural sweeteners. Meta-analyses confirm that stevia supplementation reduces fasting blood glucose and HbA1c in people with diabetes. Both represent options with more straightforwardly positive safety profiles for most adults compared to the polyol category, at the cost of somewhat different taste characteristics that some people find less satisfying than sugar alcohols in baked goods and confections. The practical takeaway for most consumers is nuanced but manageable. Sugar alcohols as a category are not worse than regular sugar and offer genuine advantages for blood sugar management, caloric reduction, and dental health. Erythritol remains the best tolerated polyol from a digestive standpoint and has the lowest glycemic index of the group. The cardiovascular findings around erythritol and xylitol are worth monitoring as research develops, but the current body of evidence does not support abandoning these sweeteners in moderate use. For anyone who prefers to err on the side of caution while the research matures, stevia and monk fruit offer effective, well-supported alternatives with no current safety concerns and positive antioxidant profiles of their own.